I noticed when I was speaking and I was talking, I was saying that before the mRNA vaccines, there were vaccines that were programmed with antibodies, with proteins that had the antibody of a specific algorithm, a specific virus, like a flu virus. And so you would get a payload of antibodies in the vaccine along with accelerants, like mercury or something. And then you would have to get boosters every so often because the body would fight off that antibody in those vaccines prior to mRNA. Okay, so I went off on that tangent, but before the massive rollout of mRNA, the other vaccines were something that your body could potentially fight off. And that's why there were a certain amount of people that were dying from cancer disease, chronic illness, but potentially autism. And that's a certain amount of the population. But you're going to find now with how aggressive this new virus is in the environment, and then you have an mRNA vaccine that is going to be 20 times as worse. And yeah, you're going to see a lot of, Bill Gates said the next pandemic is going to be a doozy. And he's not going to be wrong. Okay? So if you're doing the jelly juice, you have the ability to treat an mRNA vaccine, whether you get it in the arm or you get exposed to someone shedding. It will be like releasing the excess and overriding somebody else's programming. Okay? And so when you do jelly juice, the waterfalls releases the agonist antibodies from new viruses in the environment, because a new virus will produce agonist antibodies. What's an agonist antibody? It is an antibody that promotes growth, of which then, yes, they do get linked to cancer sometimes if you have an overabundance. And then when you do jelly juice, you also release the excess antagonist antibodies that do a spy bot search and destroy. So the yin and the yang of antibodies, just like prostaglandins, just like anything in the body, just like ionic and covalent, positive and negative, there's always going to be a plus and a minus. So that's where my book, which I'm going to stick to, is those duality, like the duality dilemmas and all that, the duality programming where you take one side or the other, or you're like, oh yeah, I hate sugar, oh yeah, I hate salt. And you always have these two factions. You need a balance of both. When you have too many agonist antibodies, you'll get cancer. When you have too many antagonist antibodies, you will have a potential heart failure, or the body is going to try to grow when it's actively being attacked. Okay? And so if you have too much of any one of those, yes, you're going to suffer cancer disease, chronic illness, autoimmunity, whatever, as well as aging and degrading. You'll lose your hair, skin, nails, you'll see gray, you'll lose collagen. You already see it in your friends and family. People are losing weight, they're getting gray, losing their hair, all that stuff. That's from the fact that they have an imbalance of agonist antibodies and antagonist antibodies. And then the hormonal imbalance is when you have too many fatty acid buildup. And so you don't have enough ionic bonding where it takes away the excess. That's why jelly juice is so important for those that are too salt or too, salt deprived, yes, but too sugar addicted. The salt needs to balance that out. That's why you lose weight on jelly juice if you do more of the J juice than you eat sugar. I'm not saying not to eat sugar, but if you do have a weight problem, then yeah, you might as well take in some ionic elements and start taking away the excess. Okay, so it's all about balance. Antagonist, agonist, ionic, covalent, micro, was macro and micro, positive and negative. I don't know, Democrat, Republican, anti-vax, pro-vax. Come on. Tell me another pro and a con or for and against argument that is the same thing as what you're fighting inside. The imbalances, not being able to balance out the duality of your personality. And so that's why it's important that, and I'm writing out, right now I'm writing about the politics, religion, and science in the New World Order, and how politics, religion, and science does show the division, but it's supposed to unite you guys. But before you can unite yourself in body, mind, and spirit, you have to get to know the different components of yourself. So Facebook, you're getting to know different parts of yourself. At some point, all of you that are in different groups need to stop with the private groups, me included, and start opening them up where everybody can see them, because that's the unification of the body, mind, and spirit. When everybody can finally recognize their differences, that we're all the same, okay? But biochemically, you have to be able to align those three areas. So politics, religion, science can show you how divided a body can be, as well as how a nation can be in a world, and then at some point bridge the gap between all of them. Okay? And so the New World Order is trying to do that. It's trying to bridge the gap between everybody. But they have to get rid of the excess, those that are so divisive and so imbalanced that they will never contribute to the overall public good as well as for themselves or their children. And maybe you don't like the way they roll it out. Maybe you don't like the assumptions they're making about you, but you have a chance to turn around those assumptions and not be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because they're going to peg you as some kind of imbalanced person, and you either confirm that or you'll prove them wrong in body, mind, and spirit. So that's what I wanted to say, that I got off on a tangent. That's why I get off on tangents, because I have so much going on in my head that I want to get to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. That's why it's so hard for me to write sometimes, because there's so much I want to say, and I have all these examples of everything, and it's just like, how do you write it all on paper and you know, show relationships and everything? But yeah, before, you know, the mRNA, you're able to release the excess antibodies pretty quickly, and they didn't stick around, and you'd have to get booster shots. Now, when you're doing mRNA, it's going to reprogram, and it's not going to be easy as just the body releasing, because it's going to reprogram. That's what you don't realize. So when you don't get a reaction right away, you think you're in the clear. That's why Inovio, I'm going to say Inovio, who I have actually stock in still, they're saying that they have a very low reaction vaccine. Well, of course, if you're in a closed society and you're not venturing out, and you have a low reaction vaccine, it means that the person hasn't been exposed to that variant yet. But wait, when you have a low reaction vaccine, it's reprogramming, it's mRNA, it's reprogramming. So when they do finally get in contact, when the society opens up, yeah, they didn't feel reactions when they got the vaccine, but they're going to be destroyed down the road. That's what people aren't aware of. So if you don't get a reaction from a vaccine, oh, just wait. Pay now or pay later. The old vaccines, you paid now, and yeah, maybe you got some kind of weird disease and you got over it. Maybe you got some cancer and you got over it. But this is pay later. You get the vaccine, feel home free, and then you will pay. Maybe a year from now, maybe 6 months from now. When you get exposed to that much of a deluge of a viral upload, holy shit, the mRNA vaccine is going to kick your ass. So, yep, you guys don't know what's going on, but now you do. All right, bye.